All right, everybody, welcome back here to part 2 of our Cam Newton quarantine film study. Joined again by Coach Palmer. Fancy seeing you here. It's been a long time since the last time we got together.
It's been a couple of years, it seems like right now. Maybe it's the quarantine,
Absolutely. The hair is going to grow out here pretty good. I'm going to need a barber here. It's getting a little desperate times on this side.
Yeah, I'm worried about that.
I could see that. All right, so we got a chance to look at Cam Newton in 2018 and, look at how he performed. Again, had the shoulder injury, which is something he dealt with going back to 2016, same throwing shoulder. So he's dealt with that a couple times. And now we're going to watch him in 2019. Again, he had a preseason foot injury. He tried to fight through it for a couple games, ended up going on IR after that. So we have taken those first 2 games of the 2019 season where Cam played. Again, we have cut up just the throws over 10 yards. Part of the impetus for that was trying to understand that arm strength, if there was anything holding him back, any limitations through the 2016 and 2018 injuries. So very excited to hear your thoughts on that. And as always, have to give our thank you to NFL GamePass for providing the film. Again, free through May 31st. Check them out. GamePass.nfl.com. Definitely a great resource that we've gotten to use for years now. And then let's just get into it, Coach. Let's talk 2019 Cam Newton here and see what you think. So this is the Week 1 game against the Rams, and we're going to catch him on a 3rd and 11 play. Here's our first exposure.
Nice, easy third down. Long yardage.
Nice, yeah. 11 is usually what you're going for in that bucket. So we have a formation here we've seen from him a little bit here over the couple years. We got tight end here, Greg Olsen, running back to the same side, and then trips to the field.
Looks like we got a soft cover 2. Could even be quarters.
We have a middle hole dropper here facing the trips.
You take a look at him on his drop, steps up. This is a big-time throw right here. Nice and smooth. He's not herky-jerky with his body. The corner tries to steal a seam, which gives me an indication that Cam is doing a good job with his eyes. Puts it on the comeback on the outside.
So when you talk about the safety and stealing the seam here, obviously we're going to see number 3 screaming up the field. So you're just talking the relationship between this safety and the hash?
No, I'm talking about the corner. Watch the corner.
Oh, the corner.
The corner's he's looking in. See how
I got you.
Starts to jump inside there. He's either looking for some type of sail route or some type of seam route, and he lets the outside receiver go. But this is a tremendous deal right here because it shows you Cam's arm strength, and he just puts it out there. And just because the guy turns his hips to the inside trying to help out on an inside route. But the thing I like is Cam is not herky-jerky in his drop. He comes up and throws it and looks pretty good. And the ball is an excellent thrown ball.
So we got him at the 39-yard line. Receivers up here at the 41 will fade back a little bit. Again, opposite hash. You want to talk about those NFL throws. I mean, that's how when you mark up an NFL throw, right? 20 yards, opposite hash.
Right. I mean, this is a big time throw. Now that's, you say, okay, show me 6 of those, and I'll, you're going to say this is pretty good. Now he's got great hands. Center snaps it a little bit to the left. He does a great job of catching the ball, and he doesn't get out of whack.
Eyes are down the middle of the field,
tying up everything. Now he looks back. Look, he's got his eyes. Now you can see with his eyes. You can see why that corner tried to jump in, steal something. And then he just nice and smooth, steps up in the pocket. Shoulders are pretty good. That's nice, compact. synergy throw where he's got everything working together.
Yes, it is. Good start to this cutup. So staying in that Rams game here. 1st and 10, a little better down in distance for him. 2 tight ends, 2 by 2. Change it back.
His favorite deal where he fakes the ball. Again, keeps himself in rhythm.
Yeah, keeps his body down. So we got 3 deep, 4 under.
Okay, let's go back now. You would expect this throw to be made, okay? Now, just take a look at his drop. He just doesn't look like he's synchronized to me there. He's reaching, he's overstriding.
Distance there again.
Right.
How far he throws that front foot forward.
Right. And
So
then
you can see where that shoulder's way up in the air.
Right shoulder's up in the air, left shoulder's down. The ball is going to sail on you. I don't care who you are.
With that leg that far out, can you really get your hips through?
Well, what happens is what winds up happening is you lock your leg out. You know what I mean? Because as you try to throw your hips through, your knee almost buckles.
And you can see it there.
Right. And that's where you can't transfer your weight through. And when you can't transfer your weight through, the ball has a tendency to sail on you.
As it does here. I'm interested to see what this looks like from the end. I want to look at one thing. So we noticed in 2018 that front foot usually closed and then would pivot as he threw. Be interested to see what that looks like as we go through 2019 here. So again, there's the run action.
See, it looks like his weight is back. So that's almost 2 yards where he's extending that.
Absolutely.
And then his right shoulder's or his left shoulder's way up in the air. Right shoulder's down. Now he pulls it and you rock through it. Now it comes down. Look, the knee is straight right there. Ball sails on him.
He points that front toe better at his target. He didn't actually pivot on it, but again, to your point, he locked up that front leg.
Right. And once you lock that front knee, that makes it difficult to get through that.
So 3rd and 4 here. LA's already up 10. 2 by 2. Motion.
This one really bothered me here. Mechanically, remember when we talked last week on the quarterback looking at the receiver and not looking at the defense?
Yeah.
Here's a perfect example. We've got a cover 2 type of deal, and they're playing man under, okay? If he's watching number 58, if he sees 58, he's going to see that 58 is eyeballing the tight end. So the quarterback in this particular situation is trying to throw it to the tight end, but he's not aware of 58 at all. So what happens is he sees the receiver break in, he tries to throw the ball, and the linebacker is all over it. I mean, there's no place to get the ball to the man.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at it from behind.
Absolutely.
See, I don't know that 58 made a great play as much as the quarterback made him look good.
Well, yeah, it's like, because if you're going to talk about where Olsen's coming, you'd think you'd want to bring him out here at the very least.
Right. And if you see the blue shirt, you're saying to yourself, well, Kim, how did you think you were going to get the ball in there? And
Just
there's really
his
no
eyes
answer to that. So, I mean, I think that's a situation. mechanically, it's not a bad throw, there's nothing wrong with the throw. He's not overstriding. He's light on his feet. Looks pretty good. His front knee is bent so he can get his weight through. But right now, I'm just concerned with, okay, how do you think you're going to get that ball in there?
Absolutely. Now, this is a situation where, again, he's got the foot injury. So you talked a bit the last time about, when you're dealing with some lower body, I think we talked about an ankle injury and the impact that can have on feeling comfortable with your lower body. You have any experience with a quarterback playing through a foot injury and the kind of things that'll do?
Yes. I mean, you can get out of whack real quick. And then you got to identify what is more natural for him. And you may not be able to throw the ball down the field. On those first two throws, now, his feet were okay. It wasn't really, nothing has shown up. The last one was more that maybe you haven't trained enough with the patterns and have a good enough feel for them that you're looking at the defense as opposed to looking at the offense. And I think sometimes that happens when a guy can't practice a lot, that, they're just not in sync or run that pattern where it's, in their mind and they can close their eyes and visualize where everybody is without even thinking about it.
I gotcha. So we got a 1st and 10. It's 3-by-1. All right, so they were showing the 2 deep and then moving the safeties here right before the snap.
Back to a cover 4 type of deal. Their corners are giving ground. It's 1st and 10, and it's, again, pretty good throw.
Absolutely.
He's not overstriding. He's looking, which I'm surprised the corner didn't sit on it. But, he looks fine, and the accuracy of the throw is very good.
So talking about arm strength, that was part of the reason we picked these plays. I mean, this corner's sitting there with outside leverage. He sees this route the whole way. To your point, Cam's eyes are down here. So what does it take to get that ball into that window? And again, he lets that thing release before the DB or the receiver gets out of his break.
Right. I mean, you can't, you're not, I am not questioned on Cam's arm strength at all. The arm strength is there. It's a question of him being in rhythm, being in sync where everything is working. And I don't care whether you have a strong arm or a weak arm. If you're not in sync, you're going to have trouble. And the things that Cam has had trouble with is when his lower body or his upper body is working against him.
I gotcha. The receiver works back to the ball. He places that thing going out. You get the throw and catch.
Now, see, watch him here. He's much more relaxed in his drop. Look how tight he is, and boom, he opens the hips, throws the ball. Shoulders are pretty. Look at that, pretty square right there, level. I mean, that's a nice job. He
is throwing that front foot, it looks like, just a little bit more this year than he did last year.
Right. He's opening up more. I think he's lighter, and I think when you're more compact, it's easier to get those hips open and get the toe pointed. And that's an excellent throw right there.
So 2nd and 4, the Rams are up 13, 3-by-1 again. So what are you seeing here at the snap coverage-wise?
I'm seeing cover 2. Nobody's in between the hashes. The guy at the safety at the top is out of the quarter alignment. He's much wider. So it looks like I've got 2 man to the top. And down here, let me just see, let it go. I don't have 2 man here. I just have cover 2 here. So they're playing a combination down here. They're playing 2-man at the top. Nice delivery. You know, that's a nice in route. Attacks the weakness of the defense. I mean, there's no herky-jerky in his drop. You know, watch him here. Nice short drop. Boom. Front, you know, he's got bend in the knee.
He didn't take nearly as long of a step there as he had some other times.
Right. To me, he's much more compact. He's lighter on his feet. It looks like they came out of the season before and said, hey, look, you're overstriding. And now he's working on keeping everything underneath him.
Heck of a job with Aaron Donald breathing down your neck.
He's a good player. I know that.
3rd and 6 now. Carolina's gotten themselves back in. It's a 3-point game here. So we got trips and a bunch. So when you're seeing these kind of things again from them, where this safety is, and you got the corner up here to the top, what kind of things do you think you're talking to a quarterback about when you see these kind of defensive alignments?
Well, you're trying to get, you know, you got a bunch down here on the right-hand side from the quarterback. So you're kind of listening to hear whether they're trio or box, whatever they're calling down here, the bunch side. At the top, it's pretty clear you got man-to-man coverage. Now it's going to be, let's see what happens. See, because, okay, it becomes a post-high safety. Just go back to it, Dan, and stop. Go back before the snap. Okay, stop it.
I got you.
Okay. See these 4 defenders to the 3 to the bunch side. Okay, they can box that, where one guy will take inside short, one guy will take the outside short, one guy will take the outside deep, the other guy will take the outside inside, or inside over the so that becomes a box. At the top, it looks like you got man-to-man coverage. So once that safety goes to the middle of the field, you know you do not have a box covered. Now you may have man-to-man, but you do not have a box covered once the safety moves to the middle of the field. See the safety there, 43. So you got man there, and then he becomes a whole player, and he's looking for any crossing route, the safety that came down to the quarterback's left.
So once you see that rotation, and to your point, now you've got a man scenario. You got the DB trying to scrape over the top to meet this crosser. He's going to take fade with the safety in the middle of the field.
Right. These are the things that you expect a good quarterback to hit. But now you look at this one. Go back just one more time. Watch how wide his base is now. You know, his weight is back. I mean, that's pretty extended. Look how his front knee is straight again, and the ball is overthrown.
Seems to be the key to everything for him. Is can he get himself where that front leg is underneath him enough to get the weight through?
Right. And if you don't get the weight through, the ball's going to sail. And, you know, one of the things as a coach,
that arch,
you see the pressure coming and how it throws him out of rhythm. And those are things that you have to work on, because, you know, you can't beat up your quarterback, but you got to have him, hey, you got time. You know, you got to don't rush it. Don't lock the front knee out. Stay in rhythm, because when you're in rhythm, you're a pretty good passer.
Now, part of that's going to be just trust in that offensive line. This is one that's undergone quite a bit of turnover and played with some guys that most likely would have been backups if not for some injuries and some other maneuvers that they have. So what can you talk about in terms of that trust and that relationship, and what that can mean for all involved?
Well, that's where the coaching comes in. You got to take and get some people to chip. You got to take and go to a 7-man protection. You've got to settle him down so he feels secure. You going empty, if your quarterback is not comfortable, that's going to make him more uncomfortable, and then that's going to become an issue, because once they lose their rhythm, you're going to have interceptions, you're going to have incompleted passes, and that's where you have to, as a coach, figure out, okay, well, how do I get them back in rhythm? Do I do it with a quick game where I can just stand up, throw it out there, and catch, get it out of his hands, and all of a sudden, he's back in rhythm. Let's go.
That makes sense. So now we have a 2nd and 10 here. Carolina is down 10. They're in 2-by-2, and the corners are playing with some big cushions out there. So with that safety stepping down like he does, what's that telling you as he continues to creep?
It just turns into a 3 deep with 4 under. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Got safety in the middle of the field. The corners are off. Okay. Now, take a look at this. Again, I would be looking at Cam and see how the corner jumps that?
Yeah.
He's got to look through to that, and he may be staring down the receiver, which now gets the corner to jump that. So one of the things I'd say to him, you got to move your eyes and get those corners, or we got to double move them. But again, look how wide he is. Look how the front leg is locked out. This is a bad play all the way through.
Sure. Is this the right side of the field for him to be looking at from your perspective?
Well, you don't know what he's been coached to do, and that's the toughest thing. You can go through and say, well, he should go to the other side, he should go here or there. But I'm more concerned with, since I don't know what they're teaching, I'm more concerned, well, why would you throw that with that guy sitting all over it? Why did you look at that for so long? Those are the things that when you don't know what's being coached, you can be critical of. Now, whether he went to the right side or not, I can't say that.
Fair enough. So hopefully you guys aren't hearing my kids in the background. They're getting a little rowdy for us here as we're all getting in our quarantine state. Apologies for any background noise. So let's see him from the end copy here. You just talked about where his head was and what that did for Talib in terms of coming there.
Right. Yeah, he's looking at his eyes right there. Okay. Now, to me, Dan, go back to the sideline.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. Okay. Whether he's going to the right side or not, we know that there's a void inside between the 2 linebackers. See, point out those 2 linebackers.
Yep.
Right in there, okay? And you have somebody underneath. This is a 2nd and 10, all right? Just go a little bit farther and just stop it when he gets a little bit right there. All right. I don't know whether he's going to the right guy or not, okay? But I do know this. The linebackers have vacated. There is an open area between the hashes for that guy that's on the 43-yard line. Okay? I know this corner out here on the 50-yard line, if I were to ask you, where's that corner's weight?
Forward.
Forward. Okay? So as you look down the field, you got indicators that are telling you the linebacker's widening, which I should be able to throw the ball over the middle of the field. Now, I may be trying, if I take a peek at that curl route out here on the 45-yard line, and I see that corner who is clearly inside of him with his shoulders down, I'm looking to drop the ball to the guy on the 33-yard line coming, or to the guy that's on the 43-yard line. There's no way that I'm going to take and jeopardize turning the ball over with two guys that are open. I'm not saying it's going to be a first down. Obviously, it'd be a first down if you throw to the guy on the 43. The guy on the 33 is going to put you in a situation where you would have to, go for it on third down with a manageable 3rd and 6 maybe, or 3rd and 5, somewhere around that deal. But where he threw this one, just as an indication to me that here's a quarterback that he's not up to speed, hasn't done enough reps to be able to win with this particular play. And I think as you look at the play, those two guys on the 43 and the 33 would, if you throw it to those guys and they catch the ball, would be classified a winning play. There's no way throwing to the guy on the 45 here would be, you can get that ball in there. Fair enough?
Absolutely. Well, then the thing, again, you got an in-breaking route here that he's going to end up throwing, and both of the DBs that are high and low on him are both already inside leverage.
Correct.
And then obviously lead to a situation where it's almost an interception on their side.
And see, to me, you're the quarterback. You stop right there. You're the quarterback. You see those linebackers vacate with your peripheral vision, okay? What happens as a quarterback, the better your peripheral vision, the better you'll play. Once you have to take and stare down a receiver, and we're staring down that guy outside, okay, defenses are going to jump on it. And this should have been a successful play. So I'm more critical of that right there. I don't think there's any question that he can't make that play to those two guys.
Yeah. If he's actually looking at the relationship here with 13, the linebackers kept going out, 13's coming back in, and it should be an opportunity there for him. But he's pretty locked in outside.
Right.
Now
that's just, that you as a coach, and we won't know. We don't know how much he's practiced. He missed OTAs. He missed how much of camp that he missed. Those are things. But when you're just evaluating the play, you got to be honest with the play.
Absolutely. So now we're sitting here 3rd and 10. Again, same scenario. Rams are up 10. Again, 3-by-1 formation. Corners playing off again. Four-man, a little twist game up front.
Got zone coverage. Okay, and there are two indicators. Let's go back. The safety's coming down. And is that number 24 there?
Yeah.
Okay. So now it becomes 3 deep, 4 under. So you're going to the 3 receiver side. That's a heck of a throw.
Absolutely.
Heck of a throw.
Leading away from the leverage defender. Right out of his break.
Timing was good. Still overstriding a little bit.
So we'll just bring that back for everybody to see here from Cam in terms of him stepping up again. That front leg. A lot of arm behind that one. The small movements in the pocket to get himself set up.
Right. But see, look how he drops the left shoulder. Right shoulder comes up, because he can't get through. That left shoulder has to go down, and the right shoulder has to come up. It's big time throw, big time catch. Again, when we talk about his mechanics, we're just trying to get him where he's consistent, where there's more completions than incompletes.
And I like what you talk about there with the consistency piece, because we get questions all the time on, what should the mechanics look like and how should they throw and things of that nature. And it seems like such an individual act in terms of how that player should do every piece of it. But what I'm hearing from you, what we've seen throughout these two shows here on Cam, is that what he does with his shoulders and his lower body have not been consistent. So whatever his mechanics are have not been the same play to play.
Right. Every guy is going to be different, just like every golfer is different. You've got to get a rhythm. You got to get your body has to match your mechanics. And once you get your mechanics and you're comfortable in that groove, you just want the guy to be working, all of his body parts working together.
So now we're out of the Rams game. We're in the division game here against Tampa Bay, week 2. And Tampa looks like they want to play a little press on the outside.
They could be looking for trouble.
So that little motion changed some things here. So just kind of talk me through what you're thinking, even just from a coaching perspective, when you see the looks here, both from Tampa Bay and then after this motion.
Well, what you're trying to do is make the defense make some calls. And the more calls and more communication, there's a chance for a breakdown. So they got it all set. The safety's getting to his position. He made his calls. They're all ready to go.
And we have one safety down here with 5 on the line of scrimmage.
Again, make them check. All right, let's go back and look at this one. We talked about the press, okay? We get a little run action fake. But to me, he babies this throw. This should be a touchdown. And you look at it, right now we've got a player that's not confident in his throwing. So to me, he doesn't come through naturally. He kind of pulls the string a little bit, and the ball doesn't get out as far as it should be. But you run this 3 more steps, you say, this is a touchdown. Notice his body's not the same. So now it allows the defender to catch up with the ball. See, I don't think there's the same. Look at how he's leaning back. He's not comfortable to throw the ball. We haven't seen him like this, where he's so slow with that arc in his back.
So this is where I got to ask a question on his foot, because we're actually seeing him here open his hips, and that lead foot is getting outside of his frame. So we're not striding forward now. Now we're striding out, and what is that doing to him?
That's slow. That's not getting the ball down the field, because everything is going to the sideline where you don't want. It's not going down the field. So what happens is the ball is going to be underthrown.
I mean, in this position, his hips are already through. His body's angled. He hasn't released it yet. So this is just all arm at this point, right?
All arm. He's aiming the ball. And you look at, if I'm the receiver and I beat the guy this bad, I'm saying, strike up the band. We got a touchdown. Yeah.
Yeah, he's already gaining a step before the ball's out.
Right. And
this has got to be one of those plays where they maybe decided the foot was too much.
Yeah, there's no question. But look at this. He's got a 4-yard cushion on the guy, and it's underthrown.
Yeah.
And it's underthrown because of his mechanics.
And all that disappears right there as he waits for that.
Right.
So we'll see what it looks like from this side. But yeah, slow it down a little bit for everybody. Yeah, so right here, what are you seeing?
I mean, his foot is outside. His hips are way ahead of his arm. So right now, there's no coordination between his hips and his throwing action. So the ball's not going to travel. So it's going to be short.
So 1st and 10, and obviously same game here. And again, week 2 and his last game of the 2019 campaign.
One second there, Dan. One of the things that happens now, you got to realize all those players in those meeting rooms, they see that. And they know if I'm a receiver, if I catch 12 touchdowns, I'm going to get a pretty good payday in my next contract. Well, all of a sudden you have some throws like that and it doesn't turn into a touchdown. And now the receivers start talking among themselves, hey, if Cam got that out to me, then all of a sudden you got a problem on your team. And that's where the issues come in. And it's not something that Cam is trying to do, but the chemistry of a team is so important, and they're not questioning that he's underthrowing them, but okay, we're paying you all this money, you got to produce. And if you produce, then that gives me a chance to produce. And if I produce, I'm going to get a bigger contract.
Sure.
And that's things that come into play. And that sometimes tears the team apart.
So we're seeing here 2-by-2. It's a 1st and 10. We got one safety deep. All the corners up on the line of scrimmage.
They're pressed. Good chance it's man-to-man.
Bringing pressure, bringing 5.
Okay, let's go back and look at this. He's going to the right spot. Safety's in the middle of the field. But look at how wide he is now.
So Samuel gets on top of another DB. I want to see this from the end here. We'll slow it down.
Weight's back. Hips are a little bit ahead of the arm.
Yep.
See, that left hip is already out. You just got to keep that left shoulder just a little bit cocked. Now it's pulled down, right shoulder's up.
What do you think about where his head's at? Is that any indication of the quarterback being out of sync? His chin's not tight. His head's out of it.
Right. His whole body is going to the left. So what happens? The ball sails out to the right. There's no, I mean, he isn't even close. That's 2 yards. The white line's 2 yards, and it's another 2 yards outside of that. It's almost 6 yards out of bounds.
Yeah. There's enough tells on this that something wasn't right. There's no reason they shut him down after this game.
You can't transfer your weight. That's hard. That is very, very difficult. Okay. Now, you tell me. Nice rhythm. No problem. Nice balance. He's a little heavy on his feet. I think that's because of the ankle. Ball's inside a little bit. He could open that left toe a little bit more.
But you talk about decision making.
Good job.
He knows he got an out-breaking route. Both the defenders are inside leverage. So he should have a good opportunity there. But he does throw on that back shoulder.
Right. And he's falling off a little bit to the left.
Run action.
Watch here, Dan. A little bit more. See, I think his left shoulder is way ahead of his arm. That's already pulled back, and he hasn't gotten through it yet.
I mean, he's fighting through a lot of things. We're going to give him credit for the physical toughness, but you keep talking about the synergy being in sync, however you want to phrase that. It's just not there for him.
Right.
So again, quality of decision making.
Good decision making, good throw.
What do you think of the timing on this one? I'm always interested in when people think the ball should come out. When do you think that this thing becomes an open receiver?
I think it's open right now because that linebacker is afraid to death that this guy's going to beat him down the middle of the field. It's a too deep type of coverage. So once he flips his hips, right now, you can throw the ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So right there is.
So from this point right here, you think that ball could have come out?
Yes. Yes.
And again, we talk about anticipation versus arm strength. Is this one of those times where he can make up for some of these things where he didn't necessarily hit it the second it came open because of the velocity of his arm?
Oh yeah, no, I've not said one thing about him not having.
No, you haven't, and I think it looks better this year than it did in 2018.
Right, but the issues you have, he's a guy that's got to practice like most guys. Okay, it's very difficult just to go out there and throw. You have to have timing. You have to know what the play is. You got to know have a feel for the receivers, and he's kind of doing it with limited practice, and he's injured. One problem is bad enough. You practice all the time and you have an injury. Well, when you can't practice and you can't, and you have an injury, that's hard now. That's hard.
Absolutely. But they convert that one, keep themselves in the lead here. 6-3 game. 2-2. Olsen's in a motion in.
Got a little chip there.
You bring 5 again. Running back's going to do his job. I'll keep him out of the route. He seems to understand what's going on this game from a processing standpoint. Seems like another good decision.
Right. But again, I think his weight is back, Dan. Just look at the top. See how it leans back there?
Yeah. And you keep talking about falling off to the left. Again, you watch his whole body here.
Right.
As he's going through that.
So right now, as you watch it, he's got a foot problem. Or he's got a lower body problem,
yeah.
I should say. Shouldn't say a foot injury.
We'll see what it looks like this way. We'll slow it down a little bit. So with his foot coming outside of his frame every time, again, we're just talking about some of the variation in mechanics. So let's, for a second, hypothetically say the foot was fine. Do you ever want to see a quarterback with that lead foot come outside of that shoulder?
No, because right now, look at his. I mean, that's almost when he gets the ball up at top, a little bit higher. Stop it. His shoulders are on a 45. You would like, if you're putting your shoulders on a 45, there's no consistency. There's no level plane to throw. Now, one time I get it far enough. Next time I don't get it, now there's where your accuracy becomes an issue. And, he's just got to get healthy and get practice time. And because, running back, that ball's short because everything's going off to the left. See it?
Yeah, because he goes to get his hips through, and he's trying to put some torque on it, but the aiming point's off.
But I don't think they're synced, Dan. I think I think my hip is open, and now it becomes all arm.
Sure.
And a guy that didn't have a strong arm, he'd have his arm in a sling.
So we got a 3rd and 8. They're trying to hold on to a lead here as we're getting close to halftime. Motion to tight end in the backfield. And Tampa's been bringing 5 here. They're going to bring it again. Drop one out. They do a good job of picking this up.
Right.
He seems to be on this one. Oh.
Again, watch his mechanics. Overstride. So once you start overstriding, there's no consistency. One time the ball goes the right way, and next time it doesn't, because you're overstriding. You'd expect this throw. You expect this throw to be completed.
Because he sees it. He's got 13 on this route. Bring him in. Speed cut that back out. He's got that all the way to the sideline.
Should be a first down. It's the right call. Goes to the right place. But because of our mechanics, it's incomplete.
So take a look at that. We'll slow it down. So from what you've seen in this 2019 campaign, obviously we had the one play against LA where he leads to lead almost that interception. But through the other exposures so far, where are you at on his decision making?
Decision making is good. You know, I haven't questioned, you know, the decision making. I think he's going to the right place. But, you know, accuracy is an issue right now.
And this looks tighter than some of the other ones, but it's still not. He's still not fully in sync.
No, I still
think you went back to 2018 mechanics where that front foot had to pivot through it again.
Right.
Feeling for him in this game. All right, 2nd and 10. Tampa has taken the lead now. Again, coming up close to halftime. Here they go, bringing 5 again. What do you think of the decision here, Coach?
Good decision. He gets the guy, open his hips. He's running the comeback. He's got strong enough arm. I mean, that's a pretty good throw right there. But look at it. To me, he's more in sync on this one. He doesn't. The body is. It's not open yet. Now it goes with the body. To me, there's more rhythm in that throw than the other ones.
And he looks lighter on his feet in terms of where he's, again, keeping everything underneath himself. He looks more up and down. Now, again, where in this kind of situation with the safety doing what he's doing and Cam's looking this route down the whole way, is there any issue with kind of eye discipline or that terminology?
No, he's got a one-on-one on the outside. You know what I mean? The safety will not be a factor.
And leads right to a completion there.
See, that may be a matchup throw. They went in there saying, hey, we're going to work against this corner. He's keeping the safety in the middle of the field. There's no indicator that the corner was going to sit with the safety cheating that way. But see, to me, right here, it's not opened. Now it's open as he's throwing the ball. I think that's a different mechanics than we saw on the last play.
I agree. So again, they're trying to get some points on the board here in this 2-minute drill. Use motion at 3-by-1. Seems like he came off this route down here at the bottom.
Right. Well, you got to cover 4 at the top and 2 down here. He thought he might have had something else, so he came over here and saw that he didn't have anything. And then he went back up to the quarter side.
So again, just from a kind of a processing, decision-making standpoint, what are your thoughts?
I think he's right going to the quarter side. The issue is we throw the ball out of bounds, and to me, the only thing you could do is run, and he really can't run because of his foot. So,
what do you think about the receiver route? I know we've been talking about Cam, but just this route's kind of catching me because this DB does not look caught off guard by the type of route and then just distance from the sideline.
Well, he's running himself out of bounds. He's giving the quarterback no room to throw the ball. You know, you go around the NFL, everybody has not everybody, a lot of players have a red line on the field. And this guy is really outside of it right now and causing himself an issue. It was not a good route.
So I'd be interested to see how he sets up coming back from one side of the field to the other here. So what are your thoughts there, Coach? He starts off, again, he's looking down that matchup, comes off.
He comes back, and he's processing what he had on the other side, and then it gets out of he doesn't have a good route, so he may be saying, hey, I'm just going to throw it out of bounds and try to kick a field goal or something like that. But there's really no place. That's where, see, right here, I'm saying if he was a healthy, I don't know how many timeouts they have, but, you've got 18 seconds. You probably could run for some yardage and get it up and put it in the ground. But I don't know how many timeouts he has or not.
Sure.
So probably what he did was the smart thing to throw it out of bounds.
And again, to your point, the last throw and now this one, the mechanics look a little different. In fact, he looks a little smoother here.
Right.
And all this. He doesn't look as out of sync on this throw as he did the other one. So I think between the red line and, to your point, just decision making, if we're going to miss, we're going to miss out of bounds.
Right.
So now they come back in the third quarter after getting a field goal, down 1. Go 2-by-2 here. There's a little play fake. There's a matchup for you.
That's a big time throw right there now. Again, the thing, you look at him, he fakes it, he goes off of it, he looks like he's in sync. Now the base is wide.
Yeah.
But it's not herky-jerky where his left shoulder's not going way down, and his right shoulder's going way up, So he's got a nice completion here.
Still a long lead leg. He's getting that out in front of him quite a bit.
Anytime you overstride, Dan, that's what's going to happen. And the good thing, his lower body and upper body were working together. But once he straightens it out, there it is straight. And it's an easy throw because it's right in front of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's not fighting himself too bad.
Take that one through one more time. So off to fake. He sees this coming. Big play. He's a competitor.
No question.
So 2nd and 18. Bring Olsen down here by himself. What are you thinking coverage-wise down here to the nub side with the back when you're seeing this alignment?
I think it's a matchup type of deal where he's down here. He's got the running back who's a good player, got the tight end who's a good player. Safety's cheating a little bit to the 3 receiver side.
Yep. So probably some sort of banjo actions, the anticipation down here.
Yeah, I know this. They got a corner blitz coming, and they're going to be shy.
A heck of a pressure call there. Comes free.
Right. Well, I think they were trying to keep the back in, but the back had a free release, and if he doesn't slip, he's got to play. And what they're trying to do is get it to the tight end with inside leverage by that linebacker coming.
Tough throw in the face of that guy screaming in there.
Right. You just.
So the defensive end comes down. So now you got a free runner.
Right.
There's not much lower body you can get into on that one.
No, you can't have it. Well, one of the things go back then, just to the right there, stop it. Okay, I would always tell our quarterbacks, okay, Cam, you got to appreciate his courage because he's trying to take the bigger play down the field. But I always told the quarterbacks, you want to get the ball out of your hands, and the first guy that's going to come open is the guy you want to throw it to. So 22 is going to be the first guy to come open. So if now I'm saying that 22 doesn't slip.
Sure.
But at least if he got the ball and threw it to 22, it would be out of his hand. And if he catches it and he gets tackled, you might have a 3 or 4 yard gain. But Cam is waiting for the bigger play. And that becomes difficult because the tight end hasn't even come out of his route. And, here, 22 is going to be open as long as he doesn't slip. Sure. But now, watch what happens. Boom. So your accuracy, I'm just trying to get rid of the ball, not get hit. Okay, they called the right defense. Give them credit. They get a paycheck also.
No doubt. So 2nd and 10, little pre-snap motion. They got McCaffrey down here by himself. Corner takes him. Again, bringing some heat. Bringing 5. Hangs in there.
Right. Can't question his courage.
Makes a good decision here.
The front leg is locked out, is ahead of his upper body. So what happens? The ball is underthrown a little bit.
We'll see that hopefully a little better from the end. Reads it, makes a good decision. But again, to your point, that front leg is locked before he comes and brings it.
Look at how high the right shoulder is. Look at how low the left shoulder is.
Obviously, when you have some pressure there, the guard getting compressed. So in those situations, when the quarterback doesn't have everything there, how much tolerance, so to speak, is given on ball placement?
Well, it's a situation where you're looking for the mechanics to stay the same. And right now, I'm saying that his mechanics are changing because maybe the pressure, but I believe he could have made the same throw by keeping the shoulders more parallel and keeping the front knee bent and transferring his way through. Now, is he going to be able to get it all the way through? Probably not, but the knee will be bent and it won't be a straight leg. One of the things I worried about with a quarterback, when his leg is straight, if he gets hit at all with that knee already straightened out, you have no flexibility and to avoid an injury.
Gotcha. I got you. All right, so we're in the fourth quarter here. Tampa has a 5-point lead. It's 1st and 10. Bring the wide receiver back in the formation. Little back shoulder throw.
Nice job on the back shoulder. Nice placement.
So let's slow it down and just watch his delivery there.
Short, compact step.
Yep. He seems to have everything underneath him.
Yep.
When it's on, he can place it.
Right.
Slow it down here a little bit for everybody. That front step, again, just you wouldn't coach it like that, though, would you?
No. You'd like it more underneath you. You know, that's a wide base now. That is a wide base.
He's got enough strength, again, in his core and his arm to make it work.
Right. One of the things I didn't mention, Dan, I think, when you have a guy that has a wide base like that, he needs more room to throw the football. When you have a tighter base, you know, it takes a little bit longer for the defensive line to get pushed into the quarterback's pocket. So another reason why you would like to have a shorter stride by your quarterback.
Sure. So it's a 3rd and 12 here. Same drive. Again, motion in. Get a bunch. Got another one that sails away. We'll slow it down here from the side. The decision, again, seems fine in breaking route against an outside leverage corner. Receiver stumbles.
Right. But just go back just a little bit. Watch how wide his base is right there. That is, you know, now I got to transfer my weight. You know, obviously the weight is back. You can see his body is back. Transferring that weight all the way through is going to take a little bit of time.
He had to rise up a bit and try to get it through, but he still can't get it over because that front leg's out so far.
Right.
So we'll see it from this angle. A lot of 5-man pressures from Tampa in this game. They're bringing it.
Well, I'm sure that they knew he wasn't going to run, so keep him in the pocket and cause a little problems.
A little spin move there in the DN, get pressure right in his face. I mean, it comes off his hand, but again, you'd already pointed out from the side, it's just so elongated.
Right.
So 1st and 10 here. Carolina put a couple points up. 2-by-2. There's that run fake. They got that over from the tight end again.
Right. Nice action. Tight. Nice play by the defense.
So we'll slow it down here and just watch him set up. Not nearly as elongated on this one. He's out again.
He's out, you know, but, you know, it's better than it was.
Yes. You can just see all the difference in terms of the placement when he doesn't have that not the overstriding issue. We'll look at it set up here. He actually gets his weight through there. Again, to your point, just a heck of a play to undercut that and get himself into position. So fourth quarter, again, still tight game. They still have an opportunity here.
3 points.
3 points. Again, looks like they're going to bring 5. Oh, we got one coming free. Don't pick this one up. Talk to me about just when you're clearly it seems like they adjust the line, but how do you do that when you're going to have the running back supposed to come cross formation like that for the fake? Something seems off.
You got to abort. The running back has got to abort and come off of it. He's got to take and abort the fake and take this guy coming off the edge.
So now Cam's going to stand in there and put it up. Man, almost got it done.
Can't question his courage. His courage is good.
Leaves his feet. He knows he's going to get hit on this one.
Right. And there's really nobody open. The only thing he's got is the corner shot. So.
Oh. It's the second time Samuel's had him. Just couldn't connect. Oof.
It's a nice athletic play to slide in the pocket there.
Got to imagine that film review session for the pass protection didn't look good there on Monday.
No. Yeah.
A few questions on what were you thinking there. All right, 1st and 10. Come back 2-by-2. Tampa's been bringing pressure all night long. Not going to stop here. Going to force them to throw it in the face of that.
Yeah, now this one I questioned, Dan. Here's a situation where he threw the fade to the back shoulder earlier, okay? He's predetermining that he's going to throw the back shoulder. Just run this a little bit farther. When you're even, you're leaving, and that should be a throw down the field, not a back shoulder.
So I'll get it up here where Samuel gets even, like you said.
Right.
So this is an opportunity here. Safety's not out of the middle of the field yet. He's
right.
Even, so to your point, his one.
Right.
You'd like to see that ball upfield.
Up front. See, one of the problems is, he's been hit. Running back to the beginning. So you have a crossing route here right now. So it's hard to determine, am I going to throw it out in front or is it going to be a back shoulder? If you practice enough, you're saying to yourself, okay, I got the DB inside. He's at least a yard. He may be 2 yards inside of me. Fair statement?
Yep.
So I'm really not thinking about throwing a back shoulder. I really should be thinking about throwing it down the field. And that should be a ball that's out in front, possibly a big play. But I think the play where he threw it, where we complimented him on the back shoulder, he was trying to get this. This is hard now. When you cross these guys, you switch him, it becomes a more difficult read for the quarterback on whether to lay it out in front or throw a back shoulder.
And so in that case, you'd probably be asking them to hang in there a little bit longer to make that determination?
No, I would go back, Dan. Hopefully I instructed him enough on the switch. Go ahead. Stop. Okay. With him inside and me that close, I would be thinking of throwing it out front. Okay. Because with him that far inside, I should be able to throw it over my outside shoulder, and he's never a factor.
Sure. So again, you're talking about distance to the sideline. We're already we're inside the top of the numbers pretty good. So there's a lot of cushion at the sideline.
Right. And again, it's just, how much practice time has he had? How much faith does he have in that receiver? He's already been programmed that it did throw a back shoulder and it worked fine.
And this time throws it into conflict. All right. So again, still a one-score game. 1st and 10. Opportunity to drive down for the win.
Good throw.
This thing comes
Good read.
So we'll come back and just see how he sets up here. Slow it down.
Slides up in the pocket. A little violent. Not too bad. Slides up. Boom.
Gives the guy a chance. Coverage units look at themselves, asking what the hell happened.
Just look at it. There's no extended, watch him right a little bit farther. That's nice, compact throw. Everything's working together. The hip's not open yet. Boom.
Like you said, front hip's closed. He hasn't stepped outside of himself for the first time.
Pretty nice job.
Absolutely. All right, 1st and 10 again. Up near midfield, 2x2. Taking a shot.
Double move it. But again, now look at him. See, the double move has thrown him out of whack. Look at how wide that base is.
Yeah. So we're back to this setup again where it's unable to get his weight through. He's front hips open. He's got a lot of arm.
Oh, there's no question about this.
That was an all-arm throw. He's still got a lot of it.
Right.
I don't think we're going to finish this and look at each other and say we got questions about arm strength.
No. I have not said that at all.
No such luck. All right, another 1st and 10. Pushing down here towards the high red zone, 3x1. Oof.
Got a wide base. I don't know what the game plan was going in, whether they were going to take and back shoulder a lot of things, but this
same concept, right?
Yeah,
because he's got everything up the field,
right? Sometimes as coaches we take and say, "Oh, we can get the back shoulder, we get the back shoulder," then all of a sudden the players start overthinking the back shoulder instead of reading it, because you would have liked to have taken a shot there, thrown it down the field.
So we'll slow it down. Just watch him progress through this again. Just such difference in all of his body angles on all the different throws.
And until you get that consistent, you're going to have a hard time improving your consistency and as far as accuracy is concerned.
So, Coach, that wraps up all those 2019 throws here. And again, just to take a look at his passing map, a little bit of more success in terms of going to his left. Small sample size again from that standpoint. So, again, just to go through some of the things about a quarterback that everybody seems to care about, poise and his ability to stand in there in the face of pressure. Would you give him good marks on that?
Excellent.
And when you go through in terms of processing, understanding what's going on, coverages, his routes, overall, were you more positive or negative on that?
I think he has a good understanding of the concepts. I think one of the problems he has is he has some receivers that give him some mystery routes, and he winds up watching the receiver more than the defense because he's not sure what the receiver is going to do. I think, how much time is he getting to practice, getting a feel for the receivers and the different concepts they have in that week. But, his arm strength is excellent. He makes throws. You can't say that he doesn't. But I do think that there's got to be synergy within his mechanics where his lower body and upper body are all working together.
So it seems like you and I are going to be in a place where accuracy was the inconsistent piece. We've seen that throughout. So then the question, if you put your GM hat on, we're in a situation now where we don't know, we're not going to have much of an off-season program. We're still trying to figure out when fall camp's going to kick off and how much we're going to have time to work with a new staff. If you are another organization trying to plan for week 1 of the 2020 season, how easy do you think it's going to be to onboard him at this point?
I think it's difficult. One of the things, Dan, you don't have a lot of time with the players. So you take away the OTAs, you take away that, it hurts a player that is changing teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is he going to have all new verbiage with the next team that he goes with? How much money is the next team going to have for him? You're not going to know that until after the draft. What quarterbacks are available, which quarterbacks aren't. Because really what you're talking about right now, you're talking about Winston and Newton. Okay, those are the 2 next quarterbacks that are out there. Which one do you want to take and bring him into your organization? Which one has the more upside? Which one is going to fit us? And each team is going to be different because, Cam Newton's going to be interesting to certain teams where Winston is not. And then Winston's going to be interesting to some teams where Newton is not. So each team is going to be different, and each guy will bring something different to the table. And then what fits your organization will determine which guy you would be interested in.
Yeah, it's going to be as the musical chairs sort out here. We have a draft, with Burrow and Tua and Herbert and Love. We'll see where all those chairs fill up. It seems like there's every expectation that Newton's going to have a home. No reason to believe that he wouldn't have a home by camp, but it sounds like it's going to be a difficult thing to have him fully ready for the start of week 1 with a new team in some of these condensed situations.
There's so many uncertainties. When are we going to go to camp? I'm assuming that there's not going to be any OTAs. Then, does Cam say, okay, I'm going to wait, see if somebody gets hurt in training camp where his value will go up more. There's so many factors and so many uncertainties that this is going to take a little bit of time to play out.
And you talked about the lower body stride length and setting up. So if you're, again, GM hat on, how much does your offensive line have to do with your interest in Cam and your ability to give him that space to operate?
I think with any quarterback, the better your offensive line is, the more comfortable your quarterback is. And I think if you're in a rebuilding stage up front, I don't know that Cam Newton would be an ideal player for you at this time.
I hear you. Well, Coach, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk ball with you. These two to go through these years. Seems like, again, someone's going to have things to work with Cam. He just has things to continue to work on. So, again, Coach, can you just let everybody know a little bit more? And we've listened to you. I think there's some people out there that don't know as much about you. So just if you were to give people kind of, the walkthrough of where you've been, what kind of things would you point out?
Well, I spent 25 years in the National Football League. It's a great life. Coaching is fun. but coaching on any level is fun. You know, whether you win at high school or college or pros, the wins feel great and the losses feel just as bad. And I've had the pleasure of finishing up my career as an athletic director. I've been a general manager and head coach in a startup league. So I've been very, very fortunate. And, you know, the game of football has been very, very good to me. And, you know, doing things like this is my way of giving back to football.
Well, we appreciate you coming and joining us. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this 2-part session on Cam Newton. I think all of us here at the Academy are excited to see what opportunities he has and what the 2020 season has in store for all of us. We will going to continue to bring these to you. We do ask, if you like this, if you learned something, please hit the like button and subscribe. It's going to help us keep these going. Below, you'll see all of our socials. We put out different types of content on those channels. You'll see shorter one-play markups and teach tapes, things of that nature. Again, trying to bring as much education to the space as we can. We thank you so much for joining us, and have a great day.